Evergreen the Crimson Path, a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. The village at the edge of the woods. In a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and the whispering woods, there lived a girl named Elara, though most knew her as Little Red Riding Hood. Her name came from the crimson cloak she wore, a gift from her grandmother, stitched with love and lined with stories. The cloak was more than fabric, it was a symbol of warmth, protection, and the bond between generations. Elara was curious, clever, and kind-hearted. She spent her days helping her mother bake bread, gather herbs, and care for the garden. But her favorite days were those when she was sent to visit her grandmother, who lived deep in the forest, beyond the winding trails and moss-covered stones. Her grandmother, Maven, was a healer and storyteller. Her cottage was filled with dried flowers, jars of honey, and books older than the village itself. Elara loved her dearly, and the journey to her home was always an adventure. The warning. One morning, Elara's mother packed a basket with fresh bread, goat cheese, and wildflower tea. "Your grandmother isn't feeling well," she said, tying the basket with a ribbon. "Take this to her and stay on the path. The forest is beautiful, but it's not always kind." Elara nodded, slipping on her red cloak. "I'll be careful." Her mother kissed her forehead. "Remember, the woods listen. Speak kindly, walk gently, and never stray." With the sun rising behind her, Elara set off, her cloak catching the light like a flame in the morning mist. The forest beckons. The forest was alive with sound, birds chirping, leaves rustling, and the distant murmur of a stream. Elara walked with purpose, but her eyes wandered. She saw mushrooms shaped like umbrellas, trees twisted like dancers, and butterflies that shimmered like stained glass. As she paused to admire a patch of bluebells, a voice called out, "Well, well? What brings a little flame into the forest?" Elara turned to see a tall figure leaning against a tree. He wore a coat of dark fur, and his eyes gleamed amber. It was a wolf, but not the kind that walked on four legs. This one stood upright, spoke with charm, and smiled with too many teeth. "I'm visiting my grandmother," Elara said cautiously. "She's not feeling well." The wolf tilted his head. "How thoughtful. And where does your grandmother live?" Elara hesitated. "In a cottage beyond the stream." The wolf nodded. "I know the place. Quaint. Tell her I send my regards." With a bow, he vanished into the trees. Elara felt uneasy. She tightened her cloak and walked faster. The deception. What Elara didn't know was that the wolf had taken a shortcut. He knew the forest's secrets. Paths that twisted like riddles, tunnels beneath roots, and ways to move faster than any human. He reached Maven's cottage before Elara, knocking gently on the door. "Who's there?" came the voice from inside. "A traveler," the wolf said sweetly. "With gifts and good intentions." Maven opened the door, her eyes narrowing. "You're no traveler. You're trouble." The wolf lunged, swift and silent. But Maven was not helpless. She threw a vial of powdered nettle into his eyes, blinding him for a moment. She grabbed her staff and struck. But the wolf was strong. He overpowered her, locking her in the cellar beneath the floorboards. He then donned her shawl, curled into her bed, and waited. The arrival. Elara arrived at the cottage, the sun now dipping low. She knocked gently. "Come in, dear," came a voice, raspy, strange. Elara stepped inside. The room was dim, and her grandmother lay beneath heavy quilts. Grandmother, she asked. Yes, child. Come closer. Elara approached, her brow furrowed. Your voice sounds different. A cold, the wolf replied. Come closer. Elara did, but something felt wrong. Her grandmother's eyes gleamed too brightly. Her hands were too large. Her smile was too sharp. What big eyes you have, Elara whispered. All the better to see you with. What big hands you have. All the better to hold you with. What big teeth you have. All the better to eat you with. The wolf lunged, but Elara was ready. She threw the basket at him, scattering bread and cheese. She grabbed a fire poker and struck, but the wolf was fast. Just then, the door burst open. The rescue. A huntsman named Brahm had been passing through the woods. He'd heard strange sounds and followed them to the cottage. Seeing the wolf attacking Elara, he charged in, axe in hand. The wolf snarled, but Brahm was strong. After a fierce struggle, he drove the wolf out of the cottage and into the woods, where it vanished into the shadows. Elara, shaken but safe, hugged Brahm. Thank you. They heard a faint knocking beneath the floor. Elara opened the cellar and found Mervyn, bruised but alive. The aftermath. They sat together, drinking tea and tending wounds. Mervyn smiled at Elara. You were brave. I remembered your stories, Elara said. And your warnings. Brahm stayed the night, and the three shared tales by the fire. The forest outside was quiet, as if listening. The legacy. From that day on, Elara was no longer just Little Red Riding Hood. She was known as the Flame of the Forest, the girl who faced the wolf and lived to tell the tale. She continued to visit her grandmother, but now she carried more than bread. She carried wisdom, courage, and the knowledge that even in the darkest woods, light could prevail. And the wolf? He was never seen again. But the forest remembered. Moral of the story. Stay alert and trust your instincts, even the most charming disguise can hide danger. Elara's journey teaches us that intuition is a powerful tool, especially when navigating unfamiliar or deceptive situations. Her ability to sense something was wrong ultimately helped her survive. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. ALP Academy. Learn lightly. Grow deeply.